Hello, welcome to this quick session. I'm often asked, what is in our VC Essentials learning path? What is the content? So what I'm going to do today, I'm just going to read out all the lessons we've got. So you'll have to sit down and just listen. This may take a little bit of time. We start with first section, how to approach VC models. So we start with an introduction on how to approach VC models. We go through about 8 overviews. So we've got an overview on how to think like a modeler. Overview, what is a complex product? Overview, where variant configuration fits into SAP. Overview, a framework for modeling. Overview, defining naming conventions. An overview, the demonstration scenario we use. And then we finish with a quick quiz. The next section, classes, characteristics, hierarchies and material types. Start with introduction to classes, characteristics, hierarchies and material types. Overview of classification, an overview of classes and characteristics. CT04, create characteristics character format. CT04, create characteristics num format. Then we have a self-guided create characteristic for a numeric characteristic. Then we go into creating characteristics with reference to a table. Then we move on to, let's have a look. So then we start looking at our overview of working with classes. Then we do CL02, creating class hierarchy and creating classes. I'll probably cut this a little bit. So CL02, creating classes, type 300. CL24N, create class hierarchy. Then overview on material types. MM01, create configurable material. CL20N, assign classes to a configurable material. And then a quiz to close off this section. Next section, configuration profile, tabs and buttons. Start with introduction to configuration profile, tabs and buttons. We have an overview, model activation. PMEVC, we create configuration profile. Overview on designing an effective user interface. So we have PMEVC interface activation, PMEVC create tabs and buttons, and then a quick quiz to cover off this section. Next section, constraints, tables and filters. We have an introduction to constraints, tables and filters. We have an overview of guiding selections. Then PMEVC, simple filter using a constraint. PMEVC, combining filters. PMEVC, hard setting of a characteristic value. Then we have an overview of variant tables. Then PMEVC, creating a constraint using variant tables. CU60, maintaining tables manually. CU60E, upload table contents. PMEVC, constraints and inferences. And then we finish off with a quiz on constraints, tables and filters. Next section, setting defaults, hide display only. So we have an introduction to setting defaults, hide display only. We have an overview for setting defaults. Then we go CT04, setting defaults with classification. PMEVC, setting defaults using a procedure. PMEVC, setting defaults using tables. PMEVC, sharing variant tables. Then we have an overview on user guidance. So we have CT04, using characteristic settings. PMEVC, hide display using procedures. PMEVC, display only using procedures. PMEVC, mandatory selections using selection conditions. PMEVC, using preconditions to filter values. And then we have a quiz to close out that section. Next section, referencing and changing sales order data. So we have an introduction to referencing and changing sales order data. Then we go overview, reading and updating sales document fields. Then PMEVC, reading sales document fields. PMEVC, updating the net and gross sales weight. PMEVC, updating the sales description. And then a quiz to close out that section. Next section, pricing, discounts and surcharge. So we start with an introduction to pricing, discounts and surcharges. We have an overview, introduction to pricing, overview, setting the base price. Then we go VK11, we create a PR00 condition record. VK11, we create a VA00 discounts and surcharges. VK30, we create the variant key descriptions. Then we move to VA01, we create pricing to check it in a sales order. We have an overview to introduction of pricing factors. So VK11, VA00 condition pricing factors. VK30, create the variant key. PMEVC, quantity-based surcharge activation. And then a quiz to close out the section. Next section, bills of materials, assemblies and components. So we have an introduction to bills of materials, assemblies and components. We have an overview of the super bill of materials. We have an overview of approaching the bill of material design. CS01, we create a bill of materials. CS01, we create a configurable assembly as well. CS01, we create, I've just said that actually. So actually we're on to PMEVC, configurable assembly value setting. Then we move into an overview of selecting components and assemblies. Then it's CS02, we add some selection conditions to our components. CS02, we do class item selection. CS02, we do class type as a selection condition. What have we got next? We've got another overview of updating bill of materials fields. We've got PMEVC, where we update the BOM quantity. We've got CS02, update BOM item text. CS02, making components sales relevant. CS01, we create a BOM with reference. And then we have a quiz to close out the section. Right, last section we have all about routing, sequences and operations. So we have the introduction, of course, to routing, sequences and operations. We have an overview on the super routing. We have another overview on approaching routing design. So then we move into CA01, we create a routing. CA01, we create a routing with parallel sequences. CA02, we select parallel sequences. Then we have an overview of setting routing operations times. So CL02, we assign characteristics to a class. So this is part of some self-guided refreshers. We have PMEVC, where we change the user interface. We have CU62, where we change a variant table structure. And then we have we can create a constraint using the wizard. And then in CT04, we create a reference characteristic. So all that sort of refresher on some previous stuff. And then we move into CA02, where we set the routing times. And then CA02 again, where we have a self-guided one, where we set the operation time using procedure. And then we have a quiz to follow out the section. So then if you've done everything in the learning path, at the end, you'll get a certificate. So that was really, really quick. I'm sorry it's not totally professional in this presentation, but it's a good way just to see how much content we have got in our learning path. Thank you.